Okay, so last we left off, we watched a seemingly really disturbing cartoon for children as it consisted of the hero and the villain just ripping themselves apart to throw at each other. Yeah, that being Tuna Fish Man. Yeah, let me say, it was quite the experience. Okay, so this was the choice I made whether or not to help Sachi. I really do want to see what happens if we make the other choice and just leave her there after she falls and drops all her food. Or whatever else she was carrying. Yeah, she was running errands, she tripped and fell. Like, main character and Yumiko were trying to be as covert as possible, but you got a choice to just, like, completely and utterly expose yourself to go and help her out? Sachi talking about, and that's what I did. So we're gonna get a parent-teacher conference this chapter, it looks like. I expect it to be the usual routine. He'll just show up when he feels like it, talk down to everyone for a while, and then leave when he gets bored. It has nothing to do with me. I'm gonna just close Discord, just so no one calls me in the middle of the stream. Goodbye. Sunday afternoon is a lazy time full of freedom, but for some reason also seems to inspire deep melancholy in many people. I guess feeling a little down about the approach of Monday is understandable, but why waste the free time you have left by sinking into some sentimental ennui? It's a very Japanese thing. Because of my occupation, I made a lot of friends overseas, where they tend to enjoy their days off without any of the gloom. To quote, why think about that crap when there's partying to do? Bwahaha! Probably as a result of spending so much time with those guys, I'm not the type who gets depressed or wistful on my days off. But among my classmates at this school, there seem to be a few who suffer the typical Japanese late weekend blues. I can understand in theory, but honestly pretty hard to empathize. Makina practically skips down the road, playing with a strange keychain. At a glance, that looks like a pretty plain little figurine. Is that thing really as rare as all that? It's number 14 in the Tuna Fish Man keychain series. Harbor Worker A. Talking about keychains that don't exist, it's fine. Tuna Fish Man again? I've got to keep an eye on that one. Yeah, if I could, I certainly would keep an eye on that too, Tuna Fish Man. I've been training my body as I usually do on the weekends, but Makina persistently hung around, pestering me to take her to the shopping district by the station, so here we are. Lately, the girl's been furtively buying toys like this whenever she goes out with me. Probably because Amane gets mad when she wastes too much money on stupid crap. Don't mention this to Amane, she'll get cranky at me for encouraging your bad habits. Let her say what she wants. There's no cure for a woman crazed by jealousy, you know? Throw a line from some daytime soap opera at me, will you? Amane really needs to stop watching that crap. No wonder she thinks like a 50-year-old. I'm quoting you, Oni-chan. What? Me? Having assumed the bad influence of the dirty old lady, Makina Liz was responsible for that line. I'm flustered to find the finger pointed at me instead. Makina narrows her eyes to slits and turns to me with a smirk. Thought you could blame the little lady's coarse speech on someone else, huh? Sure shot yourself in the foot on that one. Maybe you should be a little more careful about how you talk around impressionable you, Sony-chan. Apparently quite pleased about having cut me down to size, Makina cheerfully jogs on ahead of me. Amane and the others did say that my behavior has been influencing Makina, but hearing it outright from the girl herself is a bit of a shock. Seems I really do need to watch my step. In the workplace I was considered something of a moral exemplar. Oh, Bowsette, hi. Makina suddenly stops a few steps ahead of me and points down the street. See, I hope Physicist drops by because we'll have some good news for him with this stream. I'm gonna try and catch back up with Fruta Grisaia. I'm a little over halfway done the main route, and I heard it's gonna get interesting once I start actually getting onto each of the 5 girls' individual routes. Likely gonna start with Makina, and then maybe after that, like Michiru's second? In front of Mission McCabe Station, a cordon of jet black luxury cars have blocked off the road where the local buses usually stop. 10-odd men wearing suits mill about the area, talking into cell phones, restlessly checking their watches or discussing something in small groups. For Yakuza, they're too white-collar. Oh, you mean like the Japanese mafia. They don't have the intimidating, aggressive body language characteristic of gangsters. That said, this bunch aren't exactly inviting either. Most people would probably just give them as wide a berth. What the heck is that? Don't know, but whoever they are, they're not anyone we want to get involved with. How can you tell? If they were friendly or respectable guys, they wouldn't block the road in such a nakedly intimidating way. You're right, they're kinda scary. I haven't often seen Makina admit to being frightened like this. The girl's brave enough to grab snakes and centipedes with her bare hands, but something about that group seems to be bothering her quite strongly. She's obviously very uncomfortable. No reason to hang around here. Something about homework? The whole point of this trip was to forget all about that, you know? You're pitiless, Sony-chan. Yeah, don't just stand there. Let's get moving. As Makina holds her head in her hands and moans, I poke her in the back, urging her down the street toward the dorm. As she finally starts to walk, I shoot a quick glance back towards the station area. The group of men in business suits has come to attention, facing the ticket gate in apparent anticipation. Just now, a special express train seems to be pulling in. The station employees are running around making preparations of some sort. Some sort of big shot arriving? You're still looking at the station? Makina looks up at me with a distinctly uneasy expression. It's nothing, don't worry. I ruffle Makina's hair gently and do my best to reassure her. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5? Like, taking hours to install or something? Welcome back. When I enter the dorm with Makina, Sachi turns to greet us with her usual smile. It may be the weekend, but apparently she's decided to spend it scrubbing the hallways clean. As always, our maid's zeal for her duties knows no bounds. Yo. We have returned! Yes, I'm glad to see the two of you made it home safe. I've already drawn a hot bath, if you'd care to take advantage of it. Or perhaps you prefer to take advantage of me? It might be slightly early in the day for nighttime service, but... All of a sudden, I seem to have developed a ferocious headache. I press a hand to my forehead and close my eyes, but can't suppress a bitter grimace. Makina is one thing, but Sachi too? Where do we go so wrong? Where do we go so wrong? A very good question, Oni-chan's face. Don't go reading my inner monologue. What did you do to Sachi? This is your fault, I assume? Whatever. Why don't you take her up on it? I made her into a super convenient slutty maid. Might as well take her for a test drive. Listen to me when I'm talking to you. Also, don't turn people into slutty maids. Maki-chan informed me that only those who offer service in body and soul are truly worthy of the name maid. Why, thank you. Okay, like, if I recall correctly, Yuji's 16. So, like, this should be fine. It was quite the startling revelation. I realized that my shallow efforts so far amount to nothing more than a superficial imitation of a true maid. That's complete nonsense. Stop dancing on Makina's strings. From now on, I shall devote myself utterly to everyone's benefit. If it is requested of me, if it is your desire, I won't hesitate to service you. From now on, consider me available at any... What? Whoa, Oni-chan, what the heck are you doing? With the other hand, I seize the miscreant who's been putting troublesome ideas in her head. My prey dangling from both hands, I bellow loudly enough for the entire dorm to hear. Get out here, Amane! Amane! What the heck? I was in the middle of preparing dinner. Amane appears in no time at all. Still gripping a potato in one hand, she favors me with a look of undisguised annoyance. Hey, I'm a little concerned about something here. These girls are getting worse by the day. Might that possibly be my fault? What? Oh, yes. Yes, that's your fault. Completely. I see. Sounds amazing. Not your fault. I had a sense such a crisis might be approaching after Makina's words earlier, but it's still something of a blow to face my fears made reality. Since you arrived, Makina and Sachi's personalities have taken a serious turn for the worse. Honestly, the mouth on these girls lately... Well, my mouth might be getting worse, but my other holes are getting in better shape, if you know what I mean. Oh... I just want to do some things to her right now. Owie, that hurts! That is domestic violence, you know? So anyway, this right here, this is pretty clearly your fault. Yeah, obviously she picked up that nonsense just now from a man, and I guess that means me. Sorry, I've seen the error of my ways. I'm about ready to give up on the lot of you. Amane answers in an exasperated Kansai dialect. She seems to have concluded that my repentance isn't going to produce any real results, and I guess she's probably right. But now I'm firmly convinced that my behavior has been a bad influence on my two younger classmates. I'll try to tone down the guy talk and stick to nice harmless chats about pasta. Or whatever. Huh? What are you all doing here? Did something happen? Hey Amane, we have one here that doesn't seem to have been influenced by me in the least. Can I use her as mitigating evidence? If you really think she helps your case, go right ahead and explain how. Sorry, impossible. I threw myself on the mercy of the court. What the heck? I really don't get it, but I think someone's calling me stupid again. That's it, right? I'm not stupid. Yes, Michiru-sama, you're fine. Putting aside the matter of your stupidity, there's nothing to worry about. Don't put it aside. Also, don't tell me I'm fine just to shut me up. In this case, an external influence or two could pretty much be only a good thing. That said, the thought of Michiru remade in the image of Makina sends a cold shiver down my spine. We got nothing but eccentrics in this storm as it stands. I'd really like to avoid adding that sort of hybrid super pest to the mix. So anyway, for some reason there were lots of scary looking cars around the station today. Clinging to Amane, Makina reports the early events. Scary looking? What? Super flashy lowrider cars? With some weird statue propped up in the passenger seat? No, they weren't freaky scary like something I could see you driving. Yushi, just what kind of a person do you think I am, anyway? Anyway, they were scary, but not freaky scary like something I could see you driving, Amane. This is also your fault, Yuji. I've seen the error of my ways. Sorry. How are the cars scary, then? They were super shiny and painted black, even the windows. Huh? If the windows are painted black, how would you see the road? They're made of smoked glass, Michiru-sama. What's that? They cooked the glass over fire! Michiru, stop talking for a while. Why? She said smoke, so it makes sense! Why is it wrong? Over a fire. Someone needs to take Michiru, like, a bit further outside the dorm and show her how things really work in the real world. She needs to really get out of the dorm more frequently. Haven't you ever eaten smoked salmon or smoked cheese or whatever? Or, I don't know, have you ever eaten smoked glass? I think I'm just going to change the subject now. Basically, they were luxury cars of some sort. Lexus or Toyota Century or something? Or how about Bugatti? Yeah, that's right. Wait, today's a... I get it now. You were shut up in the dorm the last few times, so I guess this would be your first time seeing the Daimyo's procession. Daimyo's procession? What the heck? I've been worried you might be the sort to stealthily hit the bottle in the kitchen when the kids' backs are turned. But things have progressed to the point of visual hallucinations? Okay, can you not decide I'm an alcoholic in 5 seconds and flat? It's a metaphor for that convoy of black cars, of course. Can you really not figure that out for yourselves? We're a buffet with rows of Kansai-inflicted rage. However, I've already turned Amane out. I'm currently wondering about the one conspicuous absence from our group. I haven't seen Yukimiko today. She out again? You haven't heard about any of this stuff? I don't know what stuff you're referring to. What does Sakaki's absence have to do with your alcoholism? Drop the alcoholism bit! Well, you see, today, At my side, Sachi hesitantly begins to speak, but quickly falters to a stop. What, should I not have asked? It's not like it's a taboo topic or anything, but... Sakaki-san isn't around because of the parent-teacher conference. Her parents are visiting the school, even though it's a Sunday? Precisely because it's a Sunday. What? The daimyo's procession tends to be a spur-of-the-minute thing. By train this time? I see. So you'll be coming from the station? Certainly. Yes, understand. Run a schedule then. Yes, Yumiko-san is in the dormitory, but so she won't be at the school building. Please excuse me, I seem to have a visitor. Come in. Here I was, thinking the job of principal consisted solely of signing off on paperwork. It seems I was mistaken. I owe you an apology. The fact that you've increased your opinion of my job over a single phone call feels more insulting than anything else. There's something I want to ask you about. Very well, but would you please have the good manners to close the door first? Whoops, sorry about that. After swinging the overly ornate door shut, I wander over to the espresso machine and pour out 2 cups of coffee. I set the cups down on the table. Just ask the question already. Completely at home. What do you want to discuss with me? Amane told me there's a parent-teacher conference taking place today. Parent-teacher conference? Ah, right, I see. I think you're aware, but it's the weekend. There are no classes for anyone to sit in on, and there shouldn't be any teachers here to have a conference with. Weird enough, but on top of it, you're at the school for some reason. Even though it's a day off? Right. Also, there was a clump of expensive jet black cars sticking out like a sore thumb around the station this afternoon, and finally, I haven't seen Sakaki all day. I don't know much of anything about her background, but that aloof attitude makes me think her family environment is probably unusual. Judging from the way the others reacted, all of this seems to be connected. Am I on the right track? Suo-san and the others didn't explain? It's a private matter, after all. I didn't feel comfortable dragging it out of them, so I came over to get the story from you. I see. The principal lets out a single sigh and stands up from the sofa. Opening a desk drawer, she takes out a brochure, then returns it and drops it in the desk in front of me. It's the familiar Mihama Academy admissions pamphlet. I showed this to you on the day you entered the school, yes? Yeah, although I just flipped through it, really. This sort of informational brochure is generally packed with thinly disguised advertising or obtuse legal disclaimers. Either way, it tends to involve a lot of flowery, empty phrases, not genuine facts and figures. I'm not twisted enough to find pleasure in picking out all the lies and half-truths I can find in this sort of thing. This pamphlet in particular was written about this truly bizarre academy of ours. I expect there's more lies than half-truths, the most pretty blatant ones at that. That's so? Then you probably skipped over this part, I suppose. Just as I had expected. It's filled with pseudo-poetical sentences describing the school and its mission in highly exaggerated terms. Isn't that, like, pretty much what every school advertises itself as? Every school is a mission to turn, like, the children attending into responsible adults. That's every school in a nutshell. The principal's pointing to the opposite page. On the other half of the brochure, there's the words, Principal Tachibana Chizuru, accompanied by a weirdly formal photo portrait. And then we have the chairman of the board of the trustees, accompanied by a different name. Sakaki Michiaki. So this would be... The principal nods deeply. That's correct, Mr. Sakaki Michiaki. Naturally, their family names are not the product of some freak coincidence. He's Sakaki's father. He's coming to inspect the school today. Any minute now, I guess. How much do you know about Mr. Sakaki? As much as the next guy, no more. Haven't had any reason to look too deeply into him. Sakaki Michiaki is a name you'll find extremely frequently in the papers, magazines, and television news. The East Beach Express Group, owners of a rail network with a prominent line running along the east coast of the Kanto region. Oh, so they could go by rails to go and find some Pokemon. As this powerful corporate body's president, it's only natural that he's referenced in the media on a regular basis. On the surface, he's the head of one of the leading Japanese business conglomerates, and an extravagant multimillionaire. And behind the scenes, he's a heartless tyrant. Ruthlessly wielding brute force to perpetuate the aggressive expansion of his company's rail network, he doesn't hesitate to shadow the lives of those who stand in his way. In particular, there's a lot of talk about his borderline fraudulent tactics in acquiring land, apparently a legacy of the previous president. Under his leadership, the group is under a friendly name, Eager Bandit Express. I'm really not particularly interested in that sort of gossip. The fact that I know of his name anyway is a decent indication of just how much of an infamous celebrity this man is. Well, that's about the extent of my knowledge. I hope this is the part where you tell me I've gotten the wrong idea about the guy. Unlike the media's fabricated image, he's actually a kind, friendly person. Or something. Why does that feel like a red flag right there? Very common in fiction, but unfortunately the reality isn't quite as pretty. He's pretty much exactly the sort of person the rumors would have you believe, but every once in a while he does visit his daughter's school on a whim. On paper I suppose he's coming to spend some time with her, but that's not the case. They haven't met face to face once since she came here, and he's visited 3 times already. Sakaki actively refuses to see him. To explain that, I have to get into the circumstances surrounding the founding of this school, which I may have mentioned before in the first place. Whoops, they'll be here soon. After stopping the alarm, the principal glances back at me. We can continue this discussion later if you'd like. No, I don't think that's a good idea. The man comes all the way out here to visit his daughter's school, then leaves without even meeting her? From that behavior, it's pretty clear the story of Mihama Academy's founding is directly connected to Sakaki's past and family circumstances, even if the principal doesn't spell it out for me. I don't think it would be right to hear anything more than this from a third party. I'm sure it involves those complex reasons she has for being here that you were hesitant to talk about last time. That would mean you'd have to tell me things my classmate wants to keep to herself, and if you left the sensitive parts out, I'd end up with an unpleasant story, which is just as bad. I see, you're unexpectedly considerate towards your classmates. No, I'm just looking to avoid making my life more complicated than it needs to be. I think Sakaki-san will most likely be on the roof of the dormitory today. But before I can make my exit, the principal's words bring me to a halt. As I said before, she's the one who refuses to meet with her father, but she doesn't lock herself up in her room or disappear into town for his visits. When her father is here, she's always on the roof of the dorm, looking down to watch his perfunctory inspection of the school. And you're telling me this why? No one else is going to be there for her right now. You know how she is. The other kids have a hard time getting close to her at the best of times, but when her father's visiting, she's prickly as a porcupine. But I hear you've been interacting with her lately. I don't know where you got that information, but it must be a pretty shaky source. I'm not any closer to Sakaki than any of the others are. If anything, it's the opposite. I got the idea you might show Sakaki-san a little kindness when she needs it. What, are we supposed to just cut more of her hair off? Or just put her book on her head? Act on the basis of wishful thinking and you'll never get anything done. More importantly, don't you have a VIP to roll out the red carpet for? I'll be leaving now. I sort of sensed this in our previous conversation as well, but the principal seems to be expecting some sort of convenient chemical reaction between me and the other students. Yes, I'm putting an effort toward creating something like a student life for myself, which means trying to maintain a basic standard of communication with my classmates. But if I were to cross the line, if I were to push my way to their private lives, there's no way it would end well for anyone involved. After all, we're talking about people driven into something very close to an isolation facility. In the worst case scenario, prying could quite literally be a lethal mistake. If I ever get involved in their problems, it's only going to be when they reach out to me on their own initiative. Since Sakaki hasn't shown any intention to do so, I'm not going to make the first move. And I'm convinced that's the correct policy. Damn it. That principal never gives me anything but trouble. Think you'll be getting here any minute now? Well, I've completed the quick cleaning of the area around the dormitory. You always keep it very nice, Sachan. They wouldn't have complained either way. Should we say hello or something? I don't think that's a great idea. I don't want to badmouth someone else's dad, but to be honest, it probably wouldn't be that pleasant an experience. Oh, Physicist, hi. So, Yumiko's dad is visiting the dormitory? And Yumiko has just shut herself up on the roof of the school? And she's done this like the past 3 times, apparently. Wait, have you met Yumiko's dad before? My old man's a chef, you know? He's got a lot of connections, so yeah, I ended up introducing myself to Sakaki's dad before I transferred over here. And it wasn't a particularly pleasant experience. I know this is kind of a cliche, but the man's eyes were ice cold. Everything coming out of his mouth was polite, though. So polite it was kind of creepy. Either way, this whole thing seems kind of cruel. I know he has his company or whatever, but he only ever bothers to come on weekends? And then he's gone just like that? I'm figuring it out just right now, so it's okay. Since it's all for show. Smells like the sort of grown-up I ain't too fond of. Yeah. Well, it's not like he's coming to see us, and it'll only last an hour or so. Let's just deal with it, okay? By the way, where's Yuji? He said he was going to see the principal, but that was a while ago, and he hasn't come back. I wonder where he's gotten off to. Chairman, it's been a while. A pleasure to see you again. Yeah, there's other dudes in this game. What, 2-3 months since our meeting in Tokyo? Might I ask what brings you here today? Do I need a specific reason to visit the school I built? I don't think you should. I'm inspecting the region and had the opportunity to stop by. I feel the need to visit this place personally when I can. Think of it as my attempt to show contrition for pushing my problem onto you. I don't have much time. Let's follow the same route as always. I tentatively decided the course of inspection if you'd care to. The same route as always will be fine. I don't need to see anything else, which means I'm not going to waste my time doing so. Certainly looks different from what I was expecting. Let's get going then. It's kind of like getting a high-maintenance power plant built in your backyard all of a sudden, I think. This academy appears that way. The people of the city? It's not usually going to cause any problems, but there's always that fear of the worst-case scenario. The locals are naturally going to feel pretty worried about it. Assuming you were a meltdown just waiting to happen is pretty rude if you ask me. But we're all here for a reason, you know, and they know that. Well... Anyway, that's why they do these phony inspections. The big boss comes down and wanders around for a while just to reassure the public that everything's fine. No impending meltdown here. Just like that one minister ate the radishes with the E. coli and stuff? More or less. Honestly, if they don't do something like this pretty regularly, there's no telling when someone might start agitating to get the school closed. Are we a nuisance? Nope, absolutely not. But we do have to be careful to stay on our best behavior in town. And keep ourselves out of everyone's hair when the boss comes around. That said, this is definitely a lot harder on Sakaki than it is on any of us. I'm sure that it is. Done with the school building already, it seems. As soon as I open the door to the rooftop, I'm met with a piercing glare. Much like the last time we met here, Sakaki is standing straight as an arrow near the edge of the roof, her hair dancing in the sea breeze. But unlike last time, there's undisguised hostility in her eyes. Yo. She's clearly on her guard, so I stop my approach with a good distance still separating us. The same as last time? What are you talking about? The reason you're here. I'd like to know if this is a coincidence or not. The reason I'm here, of course, is that I was slightly worried about a certain woman I knew to be brooding all by herself. Thanks to that meddlesome principal's unsolicited trip, I knew Sakaki's location. I haven't been handed that information. The idea of leaving her up here all alone started to feel strangely unpleasant. I wasn't honestly paying attention. Yeah, like, leaves don't just stop floating in real life. Of course, if I told Sakaki the plain truth in this situation, there's no doubt that she'd aggressively reject my concern. A coincidence, of course. I did hear today was a slightly special day, though. So instead I offer a vague mixture of lies and truth. The ball's in Sakaki's court now. In that case, please leave me alone. I don't feel like talking. Don't worry, you didn't start the conversation last time either, remember? True enough. Sakaki breaks her sidelong glare in my direction, her gaze returning to the ground below. Since the dorm is only a 3-story building, the people below are clearly visible from our vantage point on the rooftop. Just now, the principal is leading a man in an expensive-looking dark gray suit in what seems to be his entourage in our direction. I didn't really notice that. It's a nice little touch. As the approaching figures draw closer, she pulls herself back from the edge of the roof just far enough that she can't be seen from the ground. Her placement clearly conveys her desire to observe and her absolute rejection of being observed in return. There's a voice from below. I casually glance toward the sound. The man in the expensive suit has a fake smile plastered across his face. His laughter is utterly hollow, to the point that it's actually physically unpleasant to hear. It's the forced laugh of a person who hasn't known real amusement in a very long time. Sakaki flinches at the sound, opens her mouth ever so slightly, takes a few small breaths, and closes it again. Her sharp gaze is clearly focused on the man in the expensive suit. She watches the man fixedly as he struts along confidently next to the principal. It's the expression of someone sizing up an old and bitter enemy, but there's also something like sadness there. Seems safe to say the man in the suit is her father. Compared to the man in the pamphlet, he seems slightly scrawnier, but I'm willing to bet that that's just the result of some subtle photographic retouching by his PR people. Yumiko simply stares down at them in silence. Those aren't, or shouldn't be, the eyes of someone looking at their father. That said, they're not full of murderous rage either. Her eyes are just sad. Sad and empty. Alright, we've now more or less seen everything. At the principal's words, the group stops just a little distance from the dormitory. I think we're done here, but before I'm on my way, he turns to his side, fixing the principal with a cold-eyed stare. I assume the girl is still refusing to see me? I'm afraid so. Quite firmly. With a single irritated grunt, the chairman turns on his heel and begins to walk off. Well, he did ask if she wasn't. So he doesn't just, like, straight up leave. He asks if she wants to see him, and then he leaves. Sakaki stares unblinking at this quietly retreating figure. There's no particular emotion on her face now. She simply watches until the end. When his distant figure reaches the school building and finally passes completely from view, Sakaki drops both hands to the iron rail, leans forward, and heaves a heavy sigh. She stays that way for a long time, looking straight down at the concrete beneath her feet. The sea breeze picks up after a long interruption. Salty air rushes past us from behind. Sakaki's long hair and school uniform flap noisily in the wind. When the gust dies down, there's a moment of perfect silence. You really don't plan to ask me anything, do you? Sakaki mutters a few words to the concrete beneath her feet. There's a hint of weakness in her voice. That's right. I offer a concise reply. I'm not tactless enough to poke my nose into other people's business out of mere curiosity. I think we've been over this. I'm not going to ask you anything, but if you have something you want to talk about, I'm willing to listen. I don't know what Sakaki really wants from me right now, but I think her words pretty clearly indicate that she was hoping I'd ask her something. Of course, that doesn't mean I now have free rein to barrage her with questions. That isn't why I'm here in the first place. Why won't you see your father? Is there a reason you're in this school? What exactly do you think about Sakaki Michiaki? There are plenty of things I'm interested in knowing, but it's not like dragging the answers out of her is going to change anything. If explaining some things would offer Sakaki some relief, as her classmate, I'm willing to ask those questions. But as long as I don't know that for sure, throwing my curiosity at her would exceed good-natured meddling and land solidly in the territory of outright prying. I believe I finally understand how you think. Sorry if you find my reasoning unpleasant. This is just my personality. I wouldn't say unpleasant. At the very least, you seem to be different from the people I've had around me up until now. From Sakaki's expression, I can understand she doesn't mean that in a negative way. Her usual harsh, prickly aura of rejection seems to have softened somewhat. If I ever feel the need to talk, would you listen? Like I said, talk all you want. I'm not going to stop you. I see. I'll make a note. Is this like the first time in the entire playthrough I've seen Yumiko smiling? Yeah, I can get behind this, certainly. Yeah, seeing her happy for once. Sakaki's slender hand throws the door open with surprising firmness. Even though my memory might be a little rusty, because I'd often take pretty large breaks between, like, individual streams of Grisaia. But that might have been, like, among one of the first times I've seen her smile in this whole playthrough. The wind picks up again, gusting strongly across the rooftop. A few stray grains of sand from the nearby beach blow in my face. I don't care about sand on someone's face. I want to, like, get to know the story better. But if my arrival at this school, this door, my entrance into her life, can end up working to her advantage somehow, I think I'd like to make that happen. Simple as that. Right now, the fact that I'm living this carefree, peaceful life fills me with guilt. It's a burden I carry with me every walking moment. If I can lighten that load of self-condemnation slightly by doing some half-assed pseudo-counselor volunteer work, then there's something in it for me as well. Of course, the way I'm thinking about this in such a calculating, mercenary way adds a whole new layer of guilt on top of it all. On second thought, I don't know if I should be counseling anyone. Slowly descending the stairs, I mutter quietly to myself. Sinking deeper into a Sunday afternoon melancholy that has nothing to do with the approaching work week, I continue my little soliloquy for some time. Early afternoon on a clear, ferociously hot summer day. Even in our air-conditioned classroom, the temperature is pushing 90 degrees. Amane slumps forward over her desk, panting, her tongue lolling out of her mouth. She resembles nothing so much as a broken-down old dog tied up in the sun. Why does summer have to exist? Today's a scorcher for sure. When it gets this hot, lots of stuff starts to swell up. Thermal expansion, you know? Why are you looking at me? Amani, were you maybe born on a tropical island? Like, I don't know, Jurassic Park? My body size has nothing to do with heat. Yes, I've actually heard that gigantism is more common among creatures that live in a cold climate. Oh, so she's more of a mammoth than a dinosaur? Look here, you. Amani grew up big because she has a healthy appetite, plain and simple. Just this morning I saw her pop Machina's leftovers into her mouth. Don't think she even knew she was doing it. Come on, I mean, it's a waste to just throw them out, you know? Hey Amane, were you by any chance really chubby as a kid? No, not really. I've definitely been tall since I was a kid. But I used to be a real scrawny little beanpole. You serious? Kindly stop pinching my love handles now. This voluptuous bit of excess flesh is quite luscious, I must admit. I'm slightly envious. If you used to be a scrawny beanpole, how'd you get so pleasantly plump? Well, there was this period of time where I didn't get anything decent to eat, and ever since then my metabolism has been totally different. Did you go on some crash diet? Diet isn't quite the right word, but... well, maybe something kind of similar, I guess? Anyway, I came pretty close to dying from malnutrition, and after that, my body started storing fat like crazy. All of a sudden, I was gaining 7 kilograms in a single month just by eating the same way I did before. It was a bit of a shock. But you're not exactly fat, you know? Right, because I exercise and count my calories. If I let myself go, I'd probably be a massive flab in no time. Would you mind going into more detail? What? You put on a few pounds? Look, you need to stop eating that instant stuff. If you go making yakisoba every time your stomach starts growling in the middle of the night, of course you're going to gain weight. It's not like I've put on that much weight, I'm just... so friggin' hot. I mean, is this goddamn AC even working? Amani's breaking down. The heat only gets to you because you lack willpower. Go take a nice long run outside and I bet you'll feel a lot cooler. You are so full of it. Though it's undeniable that Kazami-san isn't sweating at all. Is he a cyborg, perhaps? I spent plenty of time in hotter climates. A heat wave like this doesn't bother me at this point. It's all about getting yourself accustomed to it. If you run outside in the summer and get your body temperature up, after a while you won't be breaking in a sweat and heat like this. Of course, I'm speaking from experience. That's a rule of mine, right? You know, the problem with you isn't that you're full of crap, it's that your crap sounds weirdly realistic to the point you almost convinced me to try it out. Maybe I'll go running for a bit? Look what you've done now. You know we've got a slow-witted little copycat here, so don't say weird stuff. What? Did I say something weird? I turn around in search of support, but no one makes eye contact. You've let me down, everyone. Is this the bystander effect at work? Anyway, it's hot enough today to make anyone melt, even if you're not as sensitive as Amane. Definitely beach weather. I could really go for a swim right about now. The beach? What? You are familiar with the word beach, right? Hmm? What's a beach? Oh. Just never really thought about swimming in it. Come to think of it, we did go to the beach once, but it was just Sakaki-san, Michiru, and me back then. Yes, a bitter memory. Hey, what are you complaining about? I'm the one who got the worst of it. That was a lot of fun. There seems to be something of a divergence of opinion on that. No, true enough, the beach itself was enjoyable. Thanks to that trip, I suppose things did become significantly less awkward between us. Screw that. I still have nightmares about that day, you know? What the heck happened? It's difficult to express in words until you've experienced that yourself. I don't think you'll ever truly understand. When you put it in such dramatic terms, it only makes me more curious. Let's all go to the beach sometime soon. We can take Principal Tachibana's car. I don't mind, but doesn't that car only seat 5? There's 6 students alone, and presumably the principal will be coming along as well. There's no way we'd all fit. So we all get another and split up. A rental car or something? Now we can just use the schools. There's another one in the maintenance building garage. We'll just borrow that. I thought it was going to be 5 people in the car and 2 on top. Yeah, just tie 2 people to the top of the car. Is that really something they're going to loan out to us? No problem. I've brought it a few times before. I'd take care of all that. Okay, but who's going to drive it? I will. Don't worry, I've got a license. You do? You just leave everything to me. No, get Michiru to drive it. Now that I would actually pay money to see Michiru trying to drive it. One of the final scenes before the routes start, and probably one I'm going to enjoy most likely, because it's a beach scene. The beach! I can't wait! Shall we make a picnic lunch for the trip? Or perhaps a barbecue on the beach would be nice. It was a pretty spur-of-the-moment plan, born out of nothing more than Amane's desire to escape the heat, but since we might have some people looking forward to it now, I guess we might as well make it happen. But for us to take a group trip to a suitable beach, it is probably going to require something in the way of official permission. What if I quickly save? Specifically, the principal of our school will have to be on board. I'm sure she'll have some resistance to the idea of a group of her potentially unstable students running around outside, but I've got the feeling she'll agree if we take her along as a chaperone. My guess would be that she won't object too strongly. It's not like she has anything better to do with her time. I know enough about the job at this point to conclude with confidence that a principal's work is pretty damn boring. So far, only one choice in the entire game. Yeah, I did. That's why I had that extra save there. But of course, that's an evaluation from my personal perspective. It's always possible that Chizuru relishes pushing paper around. For all I know, this job could be her very reason for living. Yes, I did. If that's the case, I really shouldn't barge in and interrupt her too often, but since I have business with her today, I've got no choice. However, there's no cause for concern. I may not be the world's most skilled communicator, but even I know that a friendly, polite greeting goes a long way towards smoothing over this sort of minor faux pas. Sorry to interrupt you when you're having so much fun. What on earth? Knock before you come in. And fun? I wasn't doing anything weird in here, for your information. No need to say any more, Chizuru. I'm well aware that you're very much enjoying yourself in the privacy of this office. Although I can't say I understand the appeal personally. Wait a second here. What are you talking about? So far, no. That was my only choice, really. Whatever could you be talking about? You really were watching. Never mind about that. There's something I want to talk to you about. I need a favor. Are you trying to blackmail me? What are you getting all worked up about? Calm yourself, Chizuru. You'll hit menopause early if you're this stressed out all the time, you know? Oh, you're already... How rude can one person possibly be? I'm not that old yet, thank you very much. Well, I know it's none of my business, but you're a beautiful woman, Chizuru. No need to resign yourself to a future as an old maid just yet. Are you trying to compliment me or insult me? I'm genuinely curious. I'm complimenting you, of course. If I'd been born 5 years earlier, I'm sure I would have proposed by now. Hey, cut it out. You shouldn't joke about things like that. Okay, then I guess that's enough kidding around. It really was a joke! I wasn't joking when I said that you're a beautiful woman. Anyway, hear me out for a minute. Your face is slightly flushed. Diarrhea? Hurry up and tell me what you want. I don't have all day myself, alright? Actually, I'm hoping to take everyone on a group outing to the beach sometime soon. The beach? For one thing, it seems Makina's never played in the ocean. And let's face it, at the moment you've got a bunch of pale weaklings for students. They tend to avoid healthy outdoor recreation like the plague. Don't you think we should try to do something about that? This might be a good start. Well, I suppose. So I thought I'd drag the lot of them out into the sun for a while, dress it up as a picnic on the beach or whatever. But after thinking it over, I'm a little worried about having them running wild out there. Naturally, there's a limit to how close an eye I can keep on them by myself, so I was hoping you'd come along too, Chizuru. You want me to come? Yes. I could really use a reliable woman like you along on this one. I know you're busy, Chizuru, but when you get down to it, I'm trying to take advantage of your kindness here. I know it's selfish of me, but even so. Even so, I'd like you to come to the beach with me, but I'll understand if you say no. I didn't say anything yet, okay? But I'm not sure there's any reason for me to participate in an independently planned student event. Are you listening to me or what? I want to go to the beach with you. That's reason enough for me. Don't overthink this. I should have to make 2 other choices. I'm gonna guess both after the beach scene, right? Or maybe one during? Third choice will be easy enough, but the second one is tricky. Depends on how many choices I have to make. Fine, fine. When's the trip? Appreciate it, Chizuru. You're a little too good at sweet-talking older women, you know that? I feel like I've been taking for a bit of a ride here. Are you angry about being manipulated? Forget it. I know what you're getting at. Deceiving me as a woman at least means you treated me like a woman, right? Well, I suppose it's too late to complain now. I'll allow you to manipulate me this time. Would you mind driving one of the cars? Yes, drive one of the cars. Always be honest with women. Those are my master's words. No matter how painful the truth you're communicating is, you'll have to start from a position of honest discussion or you'll never be able to truly resolve your differences. A very bold and straightforward opinion indeed. Typical of my master's way of thinking, but I don't understand why it applies to women in particular. On the other hand, a certain busybody German woman told me quite the opposite. Lie to women. It's the kinder choice. What do you mean the stream cut off? Let me verify this. Should still be live. Let me verify. Should still be live. Let me verify. Shows me live, so I'm confused. You can't see anything. I was looking... Okay, never mind. I was looking at this URL and, like, everything's fine. I'm confused. Women aren't really eager to learn the ugly truth. Even if they know you're lying, they'll choose to accept the deception so long as they have a reason to do so. Yeah, I was confused there for a second. I was thinking Chizuru's opinion would be closer to JB's. Frankly, it's a real pain in the ass to try to anticipate when a woman would prefer a white lie when they want the truth. But I guess that sort of consideration is an inevitable part of forming functional relationships. And that sort of troublesome woman is supposed to be cute precisely because she's kind of a pain in the ass. I can't say I feel that way right now, but that's probably just proof that I'm still a kid. In any case, it seems I managed to secure our transportation. The next order of business would probably be to decide what we're going to do once we get there, but there's probably no need for me to worry too much about that. In the first place, the only beach activities that I can think of involve someone screaming, "Keep your heads down, goddammit! You trying to get yourself killed, maggots," as I crawl across the sand. Come to think of it, why am I so damn eager to go to the beach? It's just going to bring back a lot of memories tinged with the scent of gunpowder. This is no good. I like to lecture people about acting on the assumption of the worst case scenario, but when I'm by myself like this, that rational habit all too often transforms into unproductive pessimism. If I'm going to live normally, I need to acquire the habit of thinking less. The most I should be anguishing over before a trip to the beach is the color of Hawaiian shirt I'm going to wear. If I think too much, everything about my life right now starts to feel like a complete farce. End up sinking into self-loathing. I asked for this. I sought out normality. It'd be idiotic to run from it now. I want peace, so I refuse to face the ugliness of myself. I want change, so I reject the happiness of a carefree existence. I'm a mess of contradictory impulses, but I guess that's just another way to say human being. Do you have a second? We need to talk. I'm sitting in my chair, immersed in the book, when a certain bottle blonde cautiously strikes up a conversation. Makina is standing at her side, a somewhat awkward expression on her face. Dropping the autobiography of the ex-idol Shigesaki Megumi face down to my desk, I turn my attention to the two of them. What's up? If you're looking to confess your love, wouldn't a meeting behind the gym make for a better atmosphere? Either way, two at once is a new one. It seems I'm something of a lady killer. Of course that's not it. There's something I've been thinking about telling you for a while now. I'm here because I decided to come out and say it. If you have something to say, feel free. I'll listen if nothing else. Here's the thing. You were seriously hard to talk to. You're always giving off this I'm no ordinary man aura, so it's really hard to casually approach you. I think we need to work on fixing that antisocial atmosphere of yours. Back me up here, Makina. I don't know about that myself. Anyway, we've come up with a nice little plan to help you out. Pretty clever stuff if I do say so myself. Since entering the school, I've been consciously trying to act like an average student, but apparently my efforts haven't been that successful. I might be wearing sheep's clothing, but I guess the scent of a wolf can't be disguised so easily. What's this nice plan of yours? I hope it doesn't involve dressing me up in a skirt and dragging me into the bathroom for girl talk. I can probably still squeeze into a size 8, but I've had enough of that for one lifetime. Of course not, but thanks so much for that mental image. You know how Makina calls me Chiro, right? We think you should have some sort of a nickname like that, too. A nickname, you say? The loving words that bring people closer every time they're spoken. A nickname. The affection of your friends, compressed snugly into a neat package. A nickname. The final ray of hope in a world filled with darkness. The most exciting of epitaphs. The nickest of names. An epitaph? You plan on writing my obituary? You know what I meant. Anyway, I've decided to bestow on you the beautiful gift of your very own glorious nickname. A name is nothing more than an arbitrary label to distinguish one individual from another. I suppose you're free to attach affection to it if you want, but personally, I don't see any particular need to do so. Shut up. Even if you don't think you need a nickname, I've decided you should have one. So you no longer have a choice in the matter. What sort of nickname were you thinking of? Chiro roped me into a brainstorming session about that just now. Indeed. Working off your characteristic attitude, physical appearance, and personality type. We thought of a fantastic nickname that elegantly expresses every element that defines you. Well, go ahead and say it, I'll hear you out. That name is... I probably won't be even able to guess this one. That name is... Mr. Standoffish Man! What's with that scowl? Do you seriously plan to use that name every single time you talk to me? Yeah, what's the problem? Hey, Mr. Standoffish Man, pass me that eraser! Hey, Mr. Standoffish Man, pass me that ham. See, perfectly natural. I think it's got a particularly lovely ring to it when ham passing is involved. It's such a friggin' pain to say, and I don't know if it really expresses his personality that well, you know? Seems like a pretty clear and precise summary to me. If I'm going to be passing you ham on a regular basis, I can't be as standoffish as all that. Shut up, you. That was purely hypothetical. If you're going to start giving people nicknames for being antisocial, shouldn't you start with Sakaki? She's not the most approachable person either, wouldn't you say? That's true, I guess. But I mean... Look, we've all got different impressions of each other anyway. How about we just play around with the name instead? That's it. Brilliant, we'll play around with his name instead. I'm just full of ingenious thoughts today. Most of them seem to be shamelessly stolen from Machina. Kamazami Yuji. Gah, what a painfully dull name. How am I supposed to make this fun? Is there any reason it has to be fun? I can't see one. Of course there is. It's obviously better if saying it makes you feel happy. A fun nickname makes every conversation more pleasant. Happy, huh? How about this then? Juicy Yuji. Oh, that's close, but no cigar. Why no cigar? I must admit it has a musical resonance to it indeed. Juicy Yuji rolls off the tongue, but unfortunately, Yuji isn't really the juicy type. You know what I mean, when you say juicy, you think of the luscious sparkle of juice freshly wrung from the fruit. That's not Yuji at all. If anything, he's more like a prune, right? Sort of dried out? Why don't you tell me what you really think, punk? Don't worry, I'm thick-skinned. Huh? No, I'm not insulting you. You know, dried in the good way, like a nice sun-dried raisin. Calming a reliable presence. Excuse me, I don't know what you're talking about, but could you try to keep it down? I can't concentrate on my book. Miss Standoff. Michiru hurriedly closes her hands around Machina's mouth before any problematic words can emerge. The girl may be an idiot, but with the speed with which she reacts to situations like these is admirable. Sorry about that. I know. Yumiko, come help us think up a nickname for Yuji. A nickname? For Kazami-kun? Why? What do you mean, why? It's obviously better that you have one, right? Come on. I bet you want to give it a try, too. Don't you feel that rare pulse of excitement coursing through your veins? I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. What? Don't say that. You have to put any effort into it. Come on, just try it out for the heck of it. Or, no, don't have to put any effort into it. Try it out, but Yeah, completely no effort whatsoever required. I'm sure Yuji will be happy if you give it a shot. After a lengthy period of deliberation, Sakaki reaches her answer. Juicy Yuji. What? No way! You too? What'd I tell ya? He's juicy after all! Or perhaps Yuji? Yuji? Yumiko, you're, surprisingly. Do you have something you'd like to say to me? No, Sakaki-san, nothing at all. It's a lovely nickname. Please stop bothering me now. I'm trying to read. What is wrong with that girl? But Yuji. Indeed, a worthy candidate. Alright, Yuji, what do you want for your nickname? Don't tell me you expect me to choose one of those. Of course I do. We worked hard to think of those names. They're our thoughtful gifts to you, so now you're going to choose one, got it? Oh, we're really going to choose one. Oh shit, we really are going to choose one. Okay, so 33% chance I just get it right. So I have to get this right. Well, I know Sachi was offering her body and soul so she could be a true maid. Sounded like she was offering to fuck him, so Juicy Yuji. Alright, out of those I say Juicy Yuji. Yeah, I think Sachi wants to fuck him, so... Then, so she'll be named. Give it a try, everyone. I fucked up, didn't I? To be honest, I think I'd rather be addressed as a number. Why? It's nice. It's wonderful. My, what a lovely name you have there. Why? It's enough to make me positively jealous. Jealous, are you? In that case, allow me to give you a nickname as well. Huh? No. I already have the wonderful nickname Chiru, you know? I feel guilty about taking two. The more nicknames, the merrier. In my opinion, back me up here, Machina. It's still fun even if you have another. It's just like Juicy Yuji says. Alright, first off, let's see if we can come up with anything based off your appearance. Don't stare at me like that. What a perv. I've decided, from this day forth, you are dirty blonde. What? Wait a second. That's really mean. After all the effort I put in to get it dyed this nicely, that's just slander. It's not slander, it's an objective description of your appearance. Listen up, dirty blonde. When you confer a nickname on someone, it's only natural to expect the same treatment in return. I suggest you remember that. That said, I'm a man of mercy. If you dislike the name that much, I suppose I can give you another. Yes, do please. Please come up with something else. Alright then, I'll transform the name Michiru. Transform it into what? Mitcher. Too freaking weird. It's not insulting or anything, but it feels unbelievably wrong somehow. Yet it's clearly based off my name, so I can't really object. What a massively terrible nickname. I don't even know how to react right now. This is the first time I've ever had such mixed feelings. Okay, Makina. Make sure everyone knows to call Michiru Mitcher from now on. Gotcha! See you later, Mitcher! You too, Juicy Yuji! I fucked up, didn't I? Then again, were the other two choices that much better? Oh, I got nothing on you, Mitcher. Is it true that the two of you are changing your names? I heard it from Maki-chan, but this is all so sudden. I found it so difficult to believe. Nobody's changing their name. We were just making up nicknames, okay? I was sincerely concerned you might have done something so terrible as to necessitate starting new lives. What a relief. Sachi, my friend. Now that you know the truth of the matter, I'm sure you're longing for your own nickname. Fear not, for I'll provide you with one. Thank you very much. You are now Satcher. Mitcher and Satcher. Stop giving out these lazy nicknames left and right. Very well. I hereby solemnly swear to live as Satcher from this day forth. So Makina just said that. Atcher. What? What? Stop, I'm begging you, stop! No one can stop this train now. The revolution is here at last. Our old names have been consigned to the dustbin of history. Message delivered to all parties, Captain. What's going on here? Matcher. What's a matcher? Mitcher? Wait, please stop, no more! Mitcher and matcher. Oh, that's gonna get confusing. What's the matter? Why am I Yuji now? I just got a wonderful nickname after all. Feel free to use it. I was in the wrong. I take it all back. I'm sorry. Everybody, let's just drop the nickname plan. Things were just fine the way they were. I know it was a brief experiment, but it's already brought us more enough bitter regret. Okay, sounds good to me. Well, very well. In that case, I'll resume my life under the name Kamine Sachi. Good to know. Because this was going to get confusing real quick. We didn't really get Sakaki's new nickname, but we would have had Atcher. We would have had Satcher, Matcher, and Mitcher. I don't know if I would have been so tempted to buy the game if that were their actual real names. Can you try not to spring stupid crap like this on me too often? Hey, chin up. I thought it was a pretty good idea, by your standards at least. It's also all of a sudden something about nicknames. It's Princher. Huh? What? Wait, what? Alright, then I'll be going now. Huh? Hey, wait, hold on! Print what? What? Hold it right here, I'm not done with you yet. What the heck? Jeez. Amane-san, where are you? When I arrive at the third floor, I find an unusual scene waiting for me. Sachi's wandering around shouting out Amane's name. What is going on? Okay, I'm here. What are you so worked up about? No, wait, first things first. Don't drop the honorific from my name. Did you really think I wasn't going to notice? Could you find in your heart to let that one slide? The truth is, my lack of any real respect for my elders kind of just slipped out. You're just making it worse. Yeah, perhaps I will. So let's save this here. Amane-chan Beauty School. When's the beach gonna come? So I'm gonna go back and load. I don't want to save over this by accident. Alright, out of those I'd say Mr. Standoffish Man. Mr. Standoffish Man, quite the discerning choice, and you shall be so named. Give it a try, everyone. To be honest, I think I'd rather be addressed as a number. Why is the text like blue now all of a sudden? It's like the text is now like a weird light blue. Jealous, are you? In that case, allow me to give you a nickname as well. The more nicknames, the merrier, in my opinion. Back me up, Machina. Yeah, it's still fun even if you have another. It's just like Mr. Standoffish Man says. First off, let's see if we can come up with anything based off your appearance. Don't stare at me like that. From this day forth, you were dirty blonde. What? Wait a second, that's really mean. After all the effort I put in to get it dyed this nicely? That's just slander. It's just an objective description of your appearance. Listen up, dirty blonde. Need to keep going in order for the choice to be registered. Got it. But I wouldn't have to read through all the dialogue again, right? I could just mash enter if I wanted. I'll transform the name Michiru into Mitcher. Yeah, there is a skip button. But I still did want to hear that again. Too freaking weird. It's not insulting or anything, but it feels unbelievably wrong somehow. And yet it's clearly based off my name, so I can't really object. Never had such mixed feelings. See you later, Mitcher. You too, Mr. Standoffish Man. Impressive work, Mr. Standoffish Man. Got nothing on you, Mitcher. So why would this choice have any impact on whether or not you can take Sachi's route at all? What's a matcher? Yeah, the text is still like this light bluish color. And I think it still is. So what's the blue text supposed to be an indicator for anyways? When I arrived at the third floor, I found an unusual scene waiting for me. Sachi is wandering around shouting out Amane's name. I'm not sure either, in all honesty. So I think I'll probably just do this, like, next stream, continue on Grisaia. So yeah, that was fun. So I'll just do this for later. See you for now. Thanks for dropping.